Uh-oh. Okay, here we go.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Houston. We are the Caffeinated Show. We are here this morning live with a very special guest this morning. So good morning. I hope you have your cup of coffee. We've been indulging in a little bit of it.
Yes.
So we are live today, like I said, at the Caffeinated Room. I'm sorry.
We are
I
live.
like it. We are caffeinated right now, aren't we? I tell you what, you have this. I love it.
At the Athletic Room, but I'm Yaneth Martell, so good morning, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kimberly with North American Title Galleria. Thank you for joining us. And yes, we are at the Athletic Room in Bel Air.
Yes.
And we are caffeinated at
Apparently.
the Athletic Room this morning. And we have a very special guest, Kailee Wong, with us this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. No, awesome to have you guys. Huge fan of your show. You guys are doing some great stuff.
Oh,
so thank you
you.
very much.
And we're a great fan of you because we think you're such an interesting person, and you've brought such a great concept to our city to really help a lot of our realtors and just everyone in the city that wants to, really be at the top of their game. So we're going to talk about all of that.
Awesome.
Ask you a lot of questions.
In just a second, though, we always recap our weekend.
That's true. So what did you do this weekend?
This weekend, so obviously I have 4 children. So I have a beautiful wife and 4 children.
Wife, Marissa.
So that involves dance, jiu-jitsu. So that was kind of Saturday. So the boys were at jiu-jitsu, the girls were at dance. I was at jiu-jitsu as well.
Oh,
nice.
And then on Sunday, I actually held a Wim Hof workshop, a performance breathing workshop to manage both stress, but also kind of overall performance.
Okay.
Weren't you coaching somebody about that?
I just said, make sure your volumes are turned down.
Well, we're live.
That's okay. That's what happens when you're live, right?
And so we held this performance breathing workshop. It's Wim Hof. If anyone doesn't know it, just YouTube it, Google it. It's fascinating. He's probably one of the most studied people right now. Did that, then went to the Japanese festival.
Oh, nice.
It was awesome. We
So
had a great time.
apparently one of our realtors, Patrick Clemens, ran into you yesterday.
Yes, that's right.
He told me to tell you hello and good morning, and
Yeah.
he thought you were just an awesome, amazing guy. He said you were very, very kind. I
Absolutely.
said, of course you are. We only have kind people on our show.
We took a selfie, and he had his dog, his rescue dog with
Yes.
him, the real estate dog.
The real estate
Right,
dog.
and he was fully dressed. It was awesome. It was really fun.
That is so cute.
Very sweet dog too. Very sweet guy.
Well, Yaneth and I both had an exciting weekend. We participated Saturday morning with Thinking Boutique's fashion show.
Thanks, Alicia, for having us.
Yeah, Memorial City Mall. So we get to model her clothes.
It was
and do
our
the runway.
debut on the runway with our daughter. Well, my daughter.
I
and
like
my niece.
it.
Yeah.
I was super nervous, but it was a lot
it
of
was
fun.
good. Yeah, we had a good time.
We're with high heels. Were you rocking high heels?
Absolutely.
See, that's where I could totally see how that would get very nerve wracking.
Yes, because
I
I didn't
mean-
want to trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I was in a longer dress, so yeah, it was fun though. We had a good time, and it was for actually it was a baby expo. It was like
It was the
mommies
Houston Mom and Baby Expo.
babies.
And really, in Alicia's story, it's so unique because she loves to travel the world. I love traveling too, and she brings all these beautiful pieces from around the world. But it was all about how you can be a beautiful mom with your kids. You know, I have 2, you have 4, you have 3. I'm like, wait, 3.
I have 3. I was like, no, I don't have 4.
No, you don't have 4, you have 3. But it's how to be, how to still look beautiful while you're running around with your kids, or at least feel good. And for me, it's all about comfortable. So
Yeah, so that's what we did. We barbecued yesterday. We had the family over.
Oh, fun.
yeah,
So we didn't make it to the Japanese festival.
Yeah.
My daughter went to House of Blues for the Selena tribute. And so it was so cute. She's 15, so she didn't get to grow up with Selena, but she's like, Mom, I feel like I'm at a quinceañera.
Well, but I think the music is coming back. I mean,
Yeah.
my daughter sings it, and she didn't grow up either with it, but it's...
Bitty, bitty, bum.
Well, I have to say a very special happy birthday to my mom this morning. It is her birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. Happy
And
birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Mom. Anna.
Mama. Feliz cumpleaños. But we celebrated her yesterday with our family, so that was really nice.
Fun.
So, well, we are here to talk about you and just to find out more about you. We find your story so fascinating. First of all, guys, did you know that Kailee went to Stanford University? So tell us what made you decide to go to Stanford and how did you begin your...
So it was actually, I grew up in Eugene, Oregon. So I'm from the West Coast originally. My dad actually played football at University of Oregon.
Okay.
My mom, and that's where he met my mom, who was going to school at University of Oregon. So I grew up there. Eugene is a college town, right? It's just, and after kind of playing football and being recruited by a number of different places, I just was ready to get out of there. I did not that I loved my childhood. I love growing up there. Like it's such a special place to me. Right. But you're just kind of you outgrow it, right? And so I just wanted to see something bigger. And so I ended up deciding on choosing Stanford. One, Bill Walsh actually recruited me. So he's a legendary NFL football coach. So it's hard to say no to him.
Right.
But two, it was Stanford, right? And just like you guys were talking about, you love the world, you love traveling. Even though I have yet to really travel the world, I felt like a Stanford degree was one of those things that allowed me the opportunity if I took advantage of that.
Right.
And so I ended up going to Stanford, and then from that just kind of went into NFL. But it was a really interesting, fun place. I went to school with. In my class, it was Tiger Woods was there.
Awesome.
Chelsea Clinton was there.
There
a whole bunch of Olympic swimmers.
Wow.
Carrie Walsh, who's the volleyball player, she was there at that time. So it was just really fun and a really unique place to get to know a lot of really interesting people.
Well, and I know that while you were getting to know these interesting people, you were studying economics.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
So what made you choose economics?
Wow, beauty and brains.
I don't know about that. Where's the beauty part? Brains is still questionable too. Those are both suspect questions, right? Or statements. It was funny. There was this professor. You know how you're inspired sometimes by like somebody who just hits you. There was this guy named John Taylor, who was my Econ 101, and that was kind of one of your mandatory classes that you had to take. But he was so good and he was so engaging, and yet at the same time he was actually on the he was a presidential advisory board guy. Awesome. So he would fly back after Thursday, go back to Washington, do economic reviews and all and come back and teach us. So he would always take something that we were learning, something that was just like so obnoxiously boring, like the Heckscher-Ohlin theory or something like that, right? You have no interest in it. He'd be like, okay, this looks boring, right? We're like, absolutely, that looks really boring. He's like, okay, here's how we use this to talk about what's going on in the economy today. And so his ability to kind of tie that all in,
real life experience,
just got me so interested in it. And so I ended up kind of majoring in economics.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's good. Yeah. So tell us, so you did your time at Stanford, and then you get drafted into the NFL.
I did. So
tell us how that started. So you didn't play for the Texans first. You played for the Vikings.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So the Texans weren't even around. Right?
Yes, right. We were just still being thought about.
Yes, exactly. The Oilers had left.
The Oilers left us.
And the Texans were around. So I was drafted by second round by the Minnesota Vikings. Again, really fun rookie season. Yeah. So it was Randy Moss was the first round pick. There was a guy named Matt Burke who was a 7th round pick. All of those guys had almost Hall of Fame careers,
right?
And so my rookie season, we just rolled. I mean, we were 15-1, and we were just the whole goal was to beat teams so well or so quickly that the starters could get rested by the end of the start the fourth quarter on the bench. Yeah. And I was just like, man, this is so easy. I'm gonna have like 4 Super Bowls by the time I done. And unfortunately, I've still never been in a Super Bowl and never gone to a Super Bowl, and it wasn't as easy as I thought.
Did you see yourself when you were at Stanford playing in the football in the NFL, or was that something that happened?
It transitioned, so it wasn't my initial goal. My initial goal was when I was in high school. My goal was to get a college scholarship, to get college paid for. Once I was kind of my 3rd year in college, I realized, the NFL is definitely a possibility for me. Right. I'm going to continue to work and just try to improve my collegiate game, and hopefully there's going to be a chance.
So awesome. Your dad played, right?
He did.
Okay. Did you grow up playing like Little League football?
No, I didn't. I actually started playing probably around 13, 14.
Oh, okay. I think that's a good age.
Yeah, it is a good age. Yeah.
We started out, our son played Little League football at a very young age, probably 7, 8 years old. By the time he was a junior in high school, he was done.
He was over.
Yeah, he was done. And
Yeah.
I was heartbroken because as parents, you put in a lot of time. I mean, you see that with your own kids.
Absolutely.
Right? And you're putting a lot of time, effort, money.
For sure.
I mean, your hours are their hours. You're
Absolutely.
there with them. And then when they decided they don't want to do it anymore, I mean, I was devastated. I was like, oh, you were supposed to go be in a bell and get us out of this.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It is funny. I would say my mom is probably the one that when I chose to retire from the NFL was probably the one that affected the most. She just didn't know that football's over, and she's not, because you get accustomed. You enjoy going to the games.
Right.
You start meeting families. You start looking forward to
and she's cheering
those.
for you.
Yeah.
And
it was kind of a hard transition
was she like
for her as well.
Crazy mom on the sideline, yelling at you?
Not crazy, no.
Supportive.
She was definitely supportive. It was definitely.
I was the yelling mom. Like, you better not. Oh yeah, go wrestle that boy. Go tackle him.
I love it.
So how did you transition from the Vikings over to the Texans?
So,
why did you think Houston is the place I want to be?
So basically, kind of. I became a free agent after my 4 years in the Minnesota Vikings. So you got to go out and kind of test the market, kind of see what it was. At the time, Dom Capers I was a huge fan of him and his 3-4 defense because Dom Capers, Dick LeBeau, and Vic Fangio are just coaching like defensively. Those are coaching guys. Like you just look up to them. And so I wanted to play in that scheme. Charlie Casserly was here. And so I came to Houston. I thought it was a great city. My wife and I had just gotten married. It would be a fun place. And so we're just like, you know what? I think this is the right place for us.
That's awesome. Out of all the places